I guess you wonder why I did that. Because Des Bryant, when he played for us, he was all about passion. He was all about winning. He never put himself before the team. It was never about the 53 brand that some YouTubers and beat writers would say. It's all about winning. And he gave it 150% every time he played. He talked shit, but he backed it up. Yeah, you would see him on the sideline, doing his thing. But he never faltered. With these players we have on our team, I don't know. So let's get into it. I said it. Cowboys versus Cowgirls. And I hate that word. And hate is a bad word to say. So let's take hate out. I despise it. Even when you got all these other fans, they always say, even when we're out, how about them Cowgirls? I can't stand that. But the temper tantrums that our star players are throwing, man, it's crazy. Now, I can't even get into our offense versus the Atlanta Falcons defense because of the things I need to talk about first. My title, Cowboys versus Cowgirls. And it's crazy. So let's start with it. First of all, you had CeeDee Lamb. He starts it off. He has his little spat on the sideline months ago, him and Dak. Because, of course, he's not running the right route. Him and Dak is off target, as usual. Dak throws an interception. And you think he's talking junk to Dak, even though he's saying, you can read his voice or read his lips, throw the jump ball for, throw the jump ball. Anyway, he has that little spat. He goes on an interview with a beat writer or reporter. Reporter asks him, CD, what do you think about the fishbowl? Which means the tours that we have in the facilities. What do you think about that? And of course, CD says no comment. So of course, you know what that means when you say no comment. Then you've got our cornerback, Diggs, losing his temper after the game when we lost against Detroit to a reporter because of a tweet. Fully clothed, fully dressed, goes into the locker room. First thing he does is look at his phone after a game. Not worried about the after game speech. Not worried about what we should have done, how or what the coach is going to say. He looks at his phone, looks at a tweet, comes right back out, spazzes off. Not only that, you got Michael Parsons on his podcast. Michael, you ain't done nothing, bro. Nothing. You haven't won a championship. You haven't helped carry this team. But again, he has a podcast. Instead of just playing football, he brings Diggs onto his podcast. Now, after discussing some of the games, he then talks about the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Him and Diggs. Our starting corner, our starting linebacker, talks about who he thought or who he thinks is the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Without even naming his own quarterback, who was runner-up MVP last year. You know, Michael reminds me of a guy that I played with. And I think everybody, this goes for everybody who has played any type of sports, from college to midget league to high school. You got some of these players that pretty talented you see on your team, just as talented as you. I always thought I was the best, but anyway, just as talented. But cannot cross the street without help. Like has no type of self-awareness. How you gonna go on your own podcast? Still on the team now. This is not off season. Still playing. You're not on injury reserve, which you should be. But still playing, still on the team, still in season, week 9, and you're talking about the top 10 quarterbacks. You and Diggs are starting corner. And don't even put Dak Prescott as your top 10? Even if it was a lie, which Dak is not playing well. And it's partially, or you can say half, his fault. And it's also half the coaching staff. And it's also coaching scheme. But you don't even put him in the top 10, bro. Or top 5. Just for the mentality of the team. Self-awareness. Cowboys versus Cowgirls. Which is what we acting like. It's unreal. Now, that's Michael Parsons. Then, the Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Zeke, I love Zeke. Zeke has done well for our team. He's moved up in the ranks, and I think he's probably got on one of our top scoring lists as far as touchdowns, as far as running backs, all-time scores. He's not at the top, but I have to double check that. with this last game. But he's not the same Zeke anymore. And he knows that. If it was, the Patriots would have asked for him back. He's just not the same. And you can literally see it. Now, we brought Zeke in to be more of a veteran type player, to help motivate our other running backs and also use them in special occasions, goal line and things of that nature. But of course, Zeke thinks that he should be getting the ball more. And what happens was Zeke decided to go, of course, and complain to Jerry, whether it's through the media or actually just going to him. I don't know 100%, but whatever he did, the focal point went from Rico Dowdle to Zeke Elliott. And Rico didn't even get to play the following game. But anyway, moving forward. After watching the film, I guess for some odd reason, Zeke found out that he wasn't going to be the starting or the focal point this go around playing against Atlanta. He found out that he's probably going to end up being the third or fourth back. But of course, he didn't take that so well. Got pissed off for some odd reason. I don't know what happened, but per sources, it didn't go over well. So they didn't suspend him, but they did cut him for the traveling trip. So another Cowboy that spazzed out. So Zeke is not making the trip. And he's upset. Why? At some point, man, you got to understand that the torch has to be passed. And just for the benefit of the team, he's got to understand and move on. But what I don't understand, Cowboy Nation, but this 53 brand that we got going on is holding us back. And I don't know if it's got something to do with coaching, or is it just 53 brand? But I really think it starts from the top. When you have no control of your players, and we can start with defense, with Mike Zimmer letting players play that shouldn't play because Jerry Jones said so. You got Zeke Elliott just because he talked to Jerry. You had to figure out some type of way to sit Rico Dowdle, who's averaging, 5 point something yards a carry? Probably even more than that. When you got that type of process on our team, it's a lose-lose situation. It really is. So that's what my whole title's about. Us spazzing out instead of being team oriented. All of our top players, from CeeDee Lamb to Michael Parsons to Trevon Diggs and now Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboys versus Cowgirls. I don't know, man. This is crazy. from 90s Cowboys to this, unreal. Cowboy Nation, stand up. YDG, stand up. Just keep your head up. Again, appreciate you guys liking, sharing, subscribing. I'm on my way to 500. Let's keep it moving. I've got some more film coming on our ways on what we need to do to win this game. Our offense versus their defense, because our defense is still struggling. So Cowboy Nation, YDG Nation, stand up. Oh, and oh, by the way, I'm on the East Coast. Right? I'm in the Carolinas. Normally, if there's the Panthers playing on Fox and Cowboys play at 1 o'clock on CBS, we generally on TV. But guess who's playing, who jumped before us and took our spot? The Washington Commanders against the Giants. What does that tell you? Shit got to change, man. This shit is crazy. Now, am I going to still watch it? Yeah. I got the ticket in the NFL Red Zone. But it's generally, that never happens. So, Jerry, better figure something out. You better figure something out. Cowboy Nation, YDG Nation, stand up. See you soon.